Here we are in Juneau, Alaska, right on the border of the Mendenhall Glacier and the Juneau ice cap. We've got 5 executives, we've got 5 veterans from the military. We're on a 5-day trek, and we've got 2 teams. So we've got one team that has a leader designated, and we have one team that we said, hey, this is just shared accountability. You know, we'll function as a team, no guidance, no direction.
Almost like a little world out here, like a different planet or something.
I feel like I'm walking on the moon. There's like these landscapes I've never seen.
You get a respect for the size of the place. It's incredibly gorgeous, yet dangerous.
This is my first real mountaineering trip outside of the Army.
I've never done anything like this before. I was nervous about it, whether I could manage it physically, emotionally.
A lot challenged me today. I sprained my ankle 2 weeks ago, but it's fine right now.
It was just more physical than I thought it would be.
Somewhat treacherous conditions in terms of steepness and slick rocks.
And then getting onto the glacier was, the first time for me being on a glacier and working with crampons and whatnot.
I'm worn out right now. I was worried that I was going to have a big fall. I needed to get over that so that I could just execute.
A group of strangers within 24 hours can get very close in the way that they cooperate and help each other out. You're really faced with challenging environments, right? We could all have fallen today in one of those crevices, and then it's pretty much game over.
What do we think we could improve on today?
Everybody was forgetting to check the buddy and just kind of took off.
You get down there and you kind of forget that there's another guy behind you.
I didn't want to hold the group back if I took a picture or if I was putting my gloves on. Willis didn't want, he fell and hurt his knuckles and wanted to keep going as much as he could, but I think, people want to help.
We're out here to learn. It's not a race. I think the answer is slow down. Somebody could have got hurt because we did get sloppy.
One of the Green Beret Sergeant Majors told me it was a crucible, that it was a tough slog today. We were basically with 45 to 55 pound packs for almost 12 hours today. Some of the people felt like we were going a little bit fast. Well, if you feel that way, why aren't you speaking up? And part of that is nobody wants to be that guy. We've started our hike today on a beautiful sunny day. The weather's spectacular. We had a few people with some sleep issues, a little bit of cold, wet, but the guys are really doing a great job persevering through some little bit of aches and pains.
Last night, when I was absolutely freezing to death, I literally thought I was going to get really ill. But it's called a crucible for nothing.
How out here in the glacier, you rope in and you have to move at the same pace.
Today, I think we made a lot of strides in getting to know each other's strengths and weaknesses.
When you transition to a new environment or a new project, if you're in the business world, the process starts over, even though you're the same team. So today we had some equipment issues with gyms. Crampons weren't working. Him and Willis switched crampons. They broke again.
So people are more willing to speak up. I've noticed that.
We stopped more. We took care of each other better.
100% better than it was yesterday.
We are, I think, much more collaborative, much more open about talking to each other.
The team dynamics are stellar. I've never seen within 24 hours this type of camaraderie, trust, mutual respect.
It was a good opportunity to see how important it is to work together and communicate well in order to ensure everybody's safety.
There's a rating on these things, okay? In this way.
So it's not about you being anal. You actually explain this is going to keep you safe.
That's right, yeah.
Sometimes I think when we tell people at work different things that they need to do, we're not very good about telling them the why.
Yeah. So you want to understand the big picture.
There were some pretty hairy moments that I thought probably for our guides weren't that hairy, but for us being newbies out here, I thought it was pretty cool to be in these crevices, trying to really help each other, make sure that we got through it safely and got through it together.
We do a more communal style of leadership. We're relying on group expertise rather than a delegated leader. The main difference is probably response time in an urgent situation, because you know who the designated leader is.
They seem to always have roles and responsibilities divvied up and addressed by person, and each day it changes, allowing us each person to learn the new role, whereas we're kind of just out to fend for ourselves.
I quite frankly think that the larger team is more organized than the smaller team. They seem to be more disciplined. Maybe it's because I feel like maybe we're not as organized as we should be.
It's a little bit leaderless right now, so it'll be interesting to see if somebody steps up or if they can really have shared accountability.
We talked about yesterday, like what we could have done better, and I think we did that today.
Anything that did go wrong, the team responded to.
We all trusted the crampons, we trusted our weight and our balance, and I think that led to a much more successful walk with that.
I really like that people said, hey, there's another path there you might not have seen, and I genuinely had not seen it, so we took that other path.
Setting up camp, I saw really good teamwork because the wind was howling, our pairs were struggling to set up the tents, and two of the groups basically stopped, helped each other, helped the other two groups.
I think the greatest asset that a leader can have is to be adaptable. If it's not life and death, then things can flex.
You have to define the overall objective of what that team is supposed to accomplish.
That clarity as a leader is really important, and this gets back to what do you stand for?
So before that, I had never sprained an ankle, even though I rolled it, and then I'd be able to get up and be fine.
Let's just, if you don't mind, put a little ice in. That sound good?
Yeah, sure.
In the military, we always say that you're no faster than your slowest person, right? So we're going to grab some of her gear from her pack so she's not carrying as a heavy of a load. Yeah, I know. But I think it's kind of a group vote. All in favor, say aye. Yeah, I think you got outvoted.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you guys taking the load.
We want to see you at the top, right?
I want to get there.
So that's how we got to get there.
I'm going to stay on the path, and I'm also going to stay on more maybe even ground.
If you exacerbate it, you might not be able to.
Yeah, that's the thing I want to
there.
make sure is that we.
So part of this is your independent spirit,
Yeah.
Right? So there's you, and then there's the team. So
right.
And again, I'm not trying to put you on. Well, I definitely put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Jody scouted out a route with Bill. When someone leaves the main group, you do a 5-point contingency plan, so you know what to do if you don't come back or you take too long. So something we probably should have done.
My critique of my own decision making was I'd asked you guys to think about alternatives, and we didn't really discuss alternatives before we lit off the whole way around.
And the whole idea of contingency planning at work, does that relate, hey, we do a lot of things and make decisions and nobody really knows, what the decision is, or it's kind of sloppy. There's a little bit okay, you guys go, I'm just going to do the rucksack flop.
Yeah. Things are getting a little bit easier, setting up, unpacking, putting the tent up, making it's all coming a little bit more naturally.
I did exactly what I wasn't supposed to do, which is not really follow directions.
There's an accident.
I got hurt.
As pairs, we really trusted one another. I don't think a couple of us had delayed before. That made me a little nervous at first, and I feel with the extra precaution. I know, we were partners, so.
What has this trip allowed me to learn about myself? First, I am way out of shape. I need to exercise more. And second, and I think more importantly, to be a leader, sometimes you have to follow.
I'm tougher than I think I am. This is my first really decent amount of time outside. Adding miles and a big pack on that, I impress myself for my capability to keep up and keep a good attitude.
You have to maintain focus at all times, especially when you're in an environment like this. You can always take yourself further than what your mind and body even thinks.
After 30 years of being committed to the military, 15 of that being in leadership, I've realized it's okay to not be in leadership.
I need to listen to the advice of other people on my team and be humble enough and selfless enough to work with them, share the load, so that we all get up the mountain together, so to speak.